Hello, welcome to Teach to Code with Mario. So today we're going to look at creating another class that extends our point class so it'll actually display 3D coordinates. Other than that, inside of the point class we're also going to create a display coordinate method and a translate point method. So I was asked by a user, they left me a comment to go ahead and update the program, so we're going to go ahead and give that a shot. So if you followed along in the last video, what I'm going to try to do is post one of those cards, but essentially it was where we programmed the point class and the point test. So we're going to start off in the point class, and we're going to go ahead and just scroll down. So we have the public. Well, let's just go over what we have, right? We have the two variables we initialized, int x, int y. We have the constructor here, passed in two arguments, x and y, and then we initialize them, right, with the global variables. From there, we went ahead and made two get methods. The getX method, which returns the x, and then the getY method, which returns the y. So to this, what we're going to add is a display coordinates, and the way we're going to display these coordinates is going to be via string. So what we're going to do with this method, it's going to be a string method, and we're simply going to call it display coordinates. Now into display coordinates, we don't need to pass any parameters in. So what we can do is return, because we do have to return a string, right? Since we made the method a string type, data type, we'll tell the user your coordinate is, and then we're gonna add a parentheses here, and we're gonna concatenate the x coordinate, and then we're gonna concatenate a comma, and then we're going to concatenate the y coordinate, and finally we'll concatenate the rest of it, which is the closed parentheses. And this should display our coordinate. Now we'll go ahead and do that now in a minute. So the other part that I was asked is to also translate a coordinate. So when we translate the coordinate, what we're doing is we're adding a x and a y, a delta x and a delta y if you must, the change of x and the change of y. Although I don't like calling it delta because usually delta's for difference, right? But in vectors it's a little bit different. But anyways, let's just go ahead and do it. Let's not talk too much about the theory. So translate point. So we're also going to make this of type string, this method. Into it we're going to pass two parameters, dx and dy. Oops, int dy. You have to put your data types within the parameters. So here we're going to say x is plus equal to dx. So we're going to take the x value that we already have, and we're going to store it into this, we're going to add it and store it into x. So we're going to take this dx and add it and store it to x. Sorry, that came out really funny. So with y, we're also going to take that value and store the parameter that's getting passed through in this method, and we're going to add it and store it into the y coordinate. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and return, and we can pretty much copy this return statement now that I think about it. The only thing I think I want to change is, let's say, your translated coordinate is. Because essentially we are changing the value of x and y once we call this method. So we'll see an example soon. So now what I think we need to do is go ahead and go to the point test. There are going to be some things that we need to change. So let's go ahead and change int top and int bottom. We don't need to calculate slope no more, so I'd recommend maybe making a copy of this class if you still wanted the slope program. I really just chose not to rewrite this. Here we're going to go ahead and get rid of all these print statements. We're going to get rid of the divisor. We're pretty much getting rid of everything else. So all that should be in point test is, I'm even getting rid of the second point. It's point 1. And I think what the user had asked for is 6, 8. So they had specific coordinates they were asking. So into this, what we're going to do is go ahead, since we have our point object already. So remember when we called, I'll just show it now. So remember, we're calling class point, we're making an object and calling it point 1. And of course this is a new point and we're using the constructor. So what we want to print out is, let's go ahead and print out the x coordinate. Oops, I probably should put parentheses. So x coordinate is, and then we'll add the x coordinate. So point 1 dot get x. So now what we should do is print out the y coordinate for the user. Oops, kind of seems redundant to do this, but you know, it's good to cover all the bases. Now what we need to change in here, since we pasted it, is the y coordinate is, and then make sure you get the y coordinate. Okay, so now we can try out our new fancy method that we made. So system.out.println, and we're going to go ahead and print out point 1 dot display coordinates. It should just be coordinate now that I think about it, but whatever. So display coordinates, and then we can also do the translation as well. So system.out.println, we'll call point 1 dot translate point. And into this they asked to translate 2 and 4. Of course you can put whatever number you want in here, but this was specifically what's asked. So we simplified the point test to where it's just this chunk of code. And for point we added what? 2 methods, display coordinates and translate point. So let's go ahead and hit run and see if this doesn't blow up on us. Alright, so the x coordinate is 6, the y coordinate is 8, your coordinate is 6, 8, displays it beautifully, and then in the translation it should add 2 to 6, so we get 8, and then it should add 4 to 8, which is 12. So we translated it by 2 to the right and 4 up, so 8, 12. Now the next part's going to be a little bit trickier. So what we have to do here is we're going to go into our packages, and inside of point test we're going to have our source package here. So we're going to right click and go ahead and create a new Java class. And for this one I guess we could just call it 3DPoint. Oops, sorry about that. So 3DPoint. Let's go ahead and hit finish and get that going. Okay. So now inside of 3DPoint, we're gonna first extend into point. So this is gonna be it's gonna extend into the superclass. This is gonna become a child of it. So extends point. Now you're gonna get an error right away, and that's fine. What it's basically telling you is you have to call the superclass. So we'll talk about this as we do it. So let's go ahead and make a constructor. Let me close this window so we have more room. So we have to make a constructor no matter what, because this is going to extend into the point class. Now into this we're going to pass int x, int y, and int z. So when we create an object we want 3 coordinates, right? So that's why we're passing 3 parameters. So you'll see the error goes away here, but we have an error in the constructor. So when we extended the point we had an error up here. Now we have to get rid of this. So basically we have to call the super constructor, and that's just saying what was inside of the constructor of the point class. Well, inside of our constructor of the point class, it was X and Y. So we have to call super. Super is what calls that class constructor. Gosh, sorry, I'm getting a little wordy here. The only thing that we need to do, so basically, now that we've extended into that class, we can access all the methods it has. We can create new methods, and yeah, that's about it. Nothing too fancy. But the idea of a super class is that we don't have to rewrite the whole program. So the one coordinate that we do need to add into the constructor is this.z equals z, right? So we do need to initialize this. We have to initialize that global variable to the parameter that the user is going to pass. And then finally we need to make a method. So I wasn't too clear on what to do for this, so I figured they wanted the coordinate displayed at least. So public string display 3D coordinate, let's call it. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and return, and we're going to tell the user 3D coordinate is, actually let's go ahead and add the parentheses there. Now we're going to concatenate the x value because x should still come first. We're going to concatenate a comma. We're going to concatenate the y. We're going to concatenate another comma. And hopefully if you're following along, we're going to concatenate the z value. And finally we need to concatenate the closing parentheses for the coordinate. And that will be our return statement. So now we can go to the point test class. Well, actually, we're going to have to create a new point, right? So we'll have to create a new object first, now that I think about it. So point, 3DPoint now. Because that's what we named our class. I don't know, what could we give it for a name? I guess point 2, let's just keep it simple. Is equal to new 3DPoint. And into this we're going to pass 3 values, so we'll just stick with 6, 8. And if you want, you could even add a -4, I guess. I mean, it's up to you what you really want to do here. Alright. So now, what we're going to do is go ahead and print it out, system.out.println. And what we need is point2.display 3D coordinate. And you'll notice, I don't know if you guys saw that actually. Let's go back just a little bit. So we have display 3D coordinate and we have display coordinates. So we could do both methods because we extended into the other class. So it's a powerful thing about Java, we can use this object-oriented language to really access these files and not have to rewrite hundreds of lines of code. Alright, so display 3D coordinate. Let's see what we get. So 6, 8, -4. So there you guys go. I will tag the user inside of the comments. Like I say, if you have any Java problems you need help with, please reach out to me. I am more than grateful to help you. I kind of stopped making videos because, I didn't know where people needed help. So, maybe it's a tricky problem you're having in school. Maybe it's something, you just need help with. So do reach out to me, you guys. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you guys for watching, subscribing, liking my videos. Thank you for taking the time out. You guys have an awesome day. Bye.